No, we're not going to. No, I think I'm answering your question properly. I'm so sorry. I was kind of thinking through that. If you have a deal from yesterday that you've worked on, and you used a template uh, that you had from yesterday to create that deal. If today you went in and modified the template, no, we're not going to wipe out what you had in yesterday's deal. It'll just, when you load that template moving forward, it'll load it. So the other one you may still have to tweak a little bit if it's something that's historical. If you wanted to adjust rates or add line items, you might have to do that manually to that one. But we won't wipe out stuff, just because the template's been updated. We won't mess with your old deals, if that makes sense. Everett, we do. I don't know exactly what you're referencing as far as the map feature, but on the comps page, we do. Um, I'll go back there. We do have a map button. Let me load these comps up real quick. If you do print comps, you can print them there. And then map will show you those on a map, and then you can zoom in or zoom out. And Walter, no, again, those rates on our templates, especially on that full gut template, is something that we've used out of Virginia here. Daniel has. So yeah, absolutely, we want you to tweak that, research it for your market, and make adjustments necessary. We've given you a starting point, but don't expect that to be the end all for those. All right, thanks, Everett. Thank you, Everett. Map feature was your idea, so thank you. It might have even been before my time here, but fantastic. All right. What I want to show next is some more details in financing and a hold analysis as well. And really, it's just a few tweaks. So not reinventing the wheel here. Um, Thanks for all your questions so far. But I'm going to go back to my deals, and we're going to look at our original one that we called Fast Track September. And so far, what we've done is a flip analysis. And it's very easy to come in and do a hold analysis as well. So when I say hold, again, I'm talking about you maybe as a wholesaler, you're working with a specific investor. Maybe it's a multifamily property, and someone's going to likely keep it and rent it out, so you can analyze it as a wholesaler for somebody. Or if you're doing the property ownership and long-term investment yourself, where you're going to have tenants, you can absolutely use this feature um, to easily figure out if a project is worth your while and how much you'll make from it. So I'm going to switch over to the hold analysis. And we've got, some basic information is still in there, but we've opened up a few new fields. So we've got an after repair value that can be separate from the flip. And I'm actually going to adjust that just for simplification today. I'm going to say that for a rental, this property might be worth $210,000. And that's just, just a number I've kind of picked, to be honest. But the idea that you might have two different values, one for a flip ARV and a hold ARV, is that if you're looking to sell something, you might put in all the bells and whistles and some of the finest, granite countertops, and spend a little bit more money on the rehab, and then hope to get more out of it on the resale, where you might, use some different materials, if you are renting a property out, something that's going to have tenants that might wear the property, and wear some of the finishes down. You might use, just more modest, appliances, more modest countertops, things like that. That makes sense. So that's why we give you the ability to modify that. Um, and because of that, you can also adjust your budget as necessary. So in this case, we're doing a flip analysis. Maybe we're not going to spend $100,000, because we're not going to have every bell and whistle. We'll just say we're going to make it a $70,000 budget. But again, those are all subject to your particular project, but you can modify them as necessary. Um, so far, we've got most of the information is still coming back. What the capital is needed to get this project underway. Now it's a little bit less because we lowered the budget. As a percentage of ARV, we're even less, under this particular model that I'm putting in here. But now, because it's a hold property, you want to analyze, your rental income and your rental expenses, and look at, the numbers in a little bit different way. So if you click on enter operating income here, this is a single family home. You have just one particular 3-bedroom home. Let's say it's 1,752 square feet again, and let's say we bring in $1,500 a month. Um, that automatically calculates your annual rent here. You have the ability to pad in a vacancy loss if you'd like. So if you want to put 5% or 10%, whatnot, if you want to go ahead and be conservative with your numbers, assuming you might have some turnover and a little bit of time in between tenants, you can do that. I'm going to leave it at 0 here, just to keep it simple. See, we have a lot of different lines here, and you actually have the ability to add more and more and more. So you can use this software absolutely to analyze a duplex or a quad or a 100-unit apartment building, and anywhere in between there. Or commercial space, whatever it may be. You can add as many types of units who might bring in a different amount of rent as you'd like. So, for instance, let's say this was a large apartment building. You might have a 2-bedroom, unit that brings in a certain amount of money. You might have 5 1-bedrooms that bring in, $1,000 a month. And if you do that, it's automatically going to calculate, $1,000 a month times 5 units times 12 months to come up with that annual amount there. So you can use this to analyze, a very large building if you want. Just to keep it simple today, I'm going to keep it at our single family home here. That's going to rent out for, let's say, $1,500 a month. Click update, and you've got some operating expenses that you can put in here. I'm just going to leave the defaults here. We've got a 10% management fee that we're going to leave here, but you can adjust that or take it out if you're not, hiring a company to do that for you. We'll say that you have $40 a month in insurance, $100 a month in taxes. But of course, if you wanted to, pad in your reserves, and have repairs and maintenance budget in there, all that information you can put in here. You can add others. You can add your own item. If you're paying utilities, you can add those in here. If not, if your tenants are paying them, you can leave them off. But, adjust this and be as detailed as you can to get the right figures for you. But we'll just leave the defaults for insurance and taxes. Click update there, and now it's starting to give us back some more information here. So now we've got an operating income, a net operating income, I should say, of $1,210, and that's based on $1,500 in rent, but we're spending $290 a month in expenses. So it just automatically calculated that. Because of the property, and so far this is still an all cash deal. You've got equity in the property, 79,000, sweat equity, I should say, in the property of 79,000. You got 1,210 cash flow because you don't have a mortgage to pay so far, and now you've got an annual cash on cash return. You've got a cap rate at 11%, and so it's starting to give you back some of that information as well. So that's the quick and easy way to analyze, a hold. Now I'm going to open up some financing options and just tell you a little bit about how the system handles our financing. So on the left-hand side, on the purchase assumption panel, if you have financing turned on, you can put in the inputs in a number of different ways to really should adapt to about any kind of loan that you have, whether it's a private money loan, hard lender, if you're going to a bank, whatever it may be. I think you'll be able to input this so it matches your figures to the penny, hopefully. Um, this is assuming this is a short-term loan. So if you're doing a flip, it assumes you're going to, sell it, pay off that loan. Once you've sold the property. If it's a hold, you have the ability to come in here and refinance it. So I'll show you that in a minute. But we're just going to leave some of this stuff as defaults. And what we're suggesting is that we're financing 90% of the cost of the project at 3 origination to discount points. No other additional closing cost, and we're going to pay those points and closing costs on the back end when we pay off that loan, and a 10% interest rate. You do have the ability to include your holding and closing cost in the loan, so we've said yes to that. You're not making interest payments during the rehab, but you can certainly turn that on if you need to. And if you were doing a joint venture or something like that, you could have a profit split if you want to, but we'll just say no on that. But that is now calculating for getting a loan for somewhere around $115,000 out of the 130 that you need, and you need a $12,000 in cash to purchase this and fix it up. And then finally, you can come in here and tell the system that you want to refinance this, and this starts to get into that BRRRR method that I mentioned. So if you get a loan, a short-term loan for a property, fix it up, make it nicer, more valuable, find a tenant, get it appraised so the value is now up, not at $58,000 like it was worth, or $70,000 that it was worth. Now it's worth about $210,000. Get a new loan based on that appraisal amount, and have the ability to pull some cash out of your equity, and then take that cash and maybe move on and do the same thing to your next project. And that's that BRRRR method. Again, it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. And that's where the B and the 4 R's come from. But it's a way to absolutely build your portfolio. A lot of folks have had a lot of success with it. So the way to analyze for that is we're going to say we've got this short-term loan, and then we're going to do all the B's and the R's, and we're going to come in and refinance it here at number 45. So I've said yes there. And just to kind of show you, we'll say that we're going to borrow 75% of that ARV, so 75% of $210,000. So you're going to borrow somewhere around 150 some $1,000. We've got a new interest rate, let's say 5%, and we're going to have a 25-year term, but you can adjust that as necessary up to 30. And we'll say 3 points again. And with our rent at $1,500, now it's given us some more information. See how every time we've opened up these finances, we're getting another list of inputs and another list of outputs. So now that we've entered that, this particular deal with these numbers, once you refinance, remember we had a net operating income of a little over $1,200. That was our rent minus our expenses. And now, because we've told it we've borrowed some money again, paid off this loan and borrowed this money, we now have a mortgage payment of $921, and that's just a simple mortgage, no escrow or anything like that in it. But you have $921 going out to as a financing fee every month on this property. But when you refinanced it, you were able to take $25,000 out in cash. So maybe you can use that $25,000 to go on, buy another property with a short-term loan, and do this whole thing over again. That's where that method again comes back. So you've still got a profit at the refinance. You've got a great return on investment because you didn't, because you had a loan at the beginning, you didn't put that much cash up at the beginning either. You don't have any money tied up in afterward. You still have equity in the property, $52,000, and you're actually cash flowing here. So even though you have this $900 and some mortgage payment, you're bringing in $1,200 a month, so you've got $289 a month in cash flow. and it's an infinite. Don't worry about number 58, the calculations there, because the cash on cash return is yeah, the numbers just make it infinite there. But one thing that you are looking for um, is your debt credit ratio. If you're looking to refinance, I've heard that somewhere around 1.25 or 1.3 is a number that most